Hey guys, so now in this main activity.java file, we will create references for all the design views and components that we had created in XML over here. Creating references just means connecting all these design components to our back-end Java code by creating a variable for each of the components in the app. Remember that to create a variable, we first declare the type of variable and then write the variable name. So, in the XML design file, we can see that the first component or view in the app is a text view. It is a text that says total questions over here. So, in our main activity.java file, to create a reference or variable for this text view, we will first write the type of variable it is, which is text view. So we will write text view. And then we will create a name for this variable of our choice. So let's name the variable total questions text view. And for now, let's end this variable declaration with a semicolon. So we have created a reference for this text view in the app. Now let's do the same for the other components of the app. The next component is also a text view. It is the text view for the question that says this will be the question. So let's create a reference variable by writing text view. And then let's name the variable question text view and end it with a semicolon. Then we can see that the next components in the app are all buttons. So let's create references for each of these buttons over here. Let's name the variable for the first button answer A, then answer B, and so on. Okay, now we have created references for all the answer choice buttons. Finally, going back to the design of the app, we can see that there is one last button to create a reference for, and that is the submit button. So let's name this variable submit btn and write button submit button. Now, before we proceed with the code, let's set the IDs of each of these components. Remember that we created an ID for each component over here like this. We will create the IDs inside this method on this line over here. To set the IDs of components, you just have to follow the format variable name is equal to find view by ID r.id insert ID name. So for example, for the first reference, which is total questions text view, in the XML file, we can see that the ID is total questions. So, following the format to create an ID in the Java code, we would write total questions text view, which is the variable name, is equal to find view by ID, and then write r.id dot the ID name, which is total questions. Now, just like this ID reference, create the IDs for each of the other components that we have created variables for over here. Now I've created IDs for all the components. Now we know that when a button in the app is clicked, we want something to happen. So, in order to make it such that when a button is clicked, something happens or a certain code is invoked, we need to add something called an onClick listener to each button. So, to do this, first go up to the method declaration over here, and just before the braces, type implements view.onClick on-click listener. Now you will see that this line has a red underline, and to get rid of that, you need to go to this red bulb over here, click on Implement Method, and then click on OK. Now, inside this method that it gives you, you need to set an on-click listener for each button. To set an on-click listener for a button, you just need to write the variable name that you have created for the button, followed by a dot, followed by set on-click listener, open parentheses, and write the keyword this. So, for example, the first button is this one, and it has the variable name answer A. So I would write answer A dot set on click listener this. Now do the same for all the other buttons. Now I have set on-click listeners for all the buttons. In the next video, we will create some general variables that we're going to need.